Hello everyone, Happy New Year and welcome to another Digimon video. In this video I'm going to be going over every single Digimon that was introduced in 2022 in the same way that I did for last year's monsters. Now, first of all, we have a lot of Digimon that were introduced in New Century, which is the China exclusive Digimon game, which means that, yes, I'm going to probably butcher a lot of their names in terms of their pronunciations, so just an apology ahead of that. Secondly, some of these Digimon, actually a lot of these Digimon, are from Ghost Game and are from upcoming Vata Bracelet BE memory cards or ones that will show up later on in the show. So, of course, there may be potential spoilers depending on how much you've been able to avoid in terms of upcoming card game cards or upcoming or already released Vata Bracelet BE memories. So just be mindful of that I will be talking about these Digimon because they were technically introduced even though they haven't made their debut in the show itself, at least as of recording this. Also, lastly, there are like 2 days left of the year. I'm hoping that Bandai or Toei don't drop another new Digimon design between now, when I'm recording this, and when I release this in like 2 days for the end of the year. So I did a little bit of a later release and recording than I did for last year's video because they just felt like they were just releasing new Digimon constantly. So in any case, let's get into it. First of all, we have Amphimon, which is Gellymon's mega form. I'm kind of a fan of this one. I like how they haven't gone like, oh, she's a big booby mer lady. So I'm fond of that. I like how she's gone for more of like a deep sea diver. So I'm gonna put her in A. Not S tier because it's not like my favorite design. I feel like it's not super amazing, but at the same time, I do like how it's not just another booby mer lady. I'm a fan of the fact that it looks like the deep sea diver. Next we have, I think is this Regulusmon is next? Yes, it's Regulusmon. Big fan of this. I like that we're giving Gillymon a perfect form. On the other hand, I'm kind of annoyed that Gammamon gets all these extra evolutions and the other characters only have their usual 1 adult, 1 perfect, 1 mega, but Gammamon is getting 2 perfects, 3 megas, 3 adults. It kind of makes me feel bad, but at least the rosters for the Angoramon and Gillymon BE memory cards do have additional perfects and mega forms, but they're not like custom and unique to that Digimon, at least as far as we've seen in the anime as of recording this. So I'm going to put him in B tier. It's fine. I do prefer Gammamon as a design. I feel like Gammamon is an amazing design, and I can't remember what I rated Gammamon as for my video last year, but I feel like it probably wasn't high enough because it hadn't actually debuted in the anime itself at that point. It debuted in like mid-January, so I've liked Gammamon more and more since the actual introduction. But Regulusmon just feels kind of like just like Dark Canoweismon or Dark Siriusmon. Like, it's not super amazing. So, I mean, it's still cool, but it's not, it feels like it's just a step down from Gammamon. Next, we have Balmon X Antibody. I'm gonna also put this in B. I love Balmon, but the X Antibody one just kind of looks like more magical Balmon. It's fine. I like Balmon in general, that's why it's in B. B for Balmon. Next we have Bomberman, who is just, I'm torn between A or B. I think I want to put it in A. I just really like this design. Spoiler alert, I like a lot of the new Digimon that was shown off for the Gammamon BE memory card. I love all their designs. I think they just did a great job, like chef's kiss with these Digimon. They're just all great. And there is another one, and I'll get to it, that I'm going to put in S tier. And as soon as I made this tier maker list, I was like, that's in S tier, 100%. But we'll get to that. Next we've got Shamblemon. I'm going to put it in F. It's just an adult version of Mushroomon, but it's less detailed. I just feel like if they've just went like, it feels like it's missing like a level of detail. It feels like it's half designed. It feels like they needed to go over with like, you know, more stuff. It just feels like it's just kind of like, you know, pink. It looks a little bit like it's not suitable for this YouTube channel in the design just because of the colours that they've gone for. They're missing a lot of spots that Mushroomon had. It's missing a lot of character that Mushroomon had, so it feels like a step down. I do like that they're giving evolutions for really old Digimon. Great, I'm a big fan of that. But the design itself just feels like a slight step down from the original. And I wasn't a huge fan of the original anyway, but I do like how they're at least giving evolutions for these older Digimon. So there is that. That's a positive at least. Next we have Dilbitmon, who is the mega form of Angoramon. I'm gonna have to put this. I'm gonna put a lot in B. I can just feel it, but I'm gonna put this in B just because it feels like a step down from Lamortmon. Lamortmon has so much character, being kind of like a little bit of an out of control monster, but Dilbitmon feels more like it's kind of like fancy, like Angoramon, like Simbar Angoramon, which is fine. But I kind of, and I guess we haven't had this evolution episode yet, but it kind of feels like, at least as of recording this, that it's just kind of a step down, and we're not going to get any more of, oh, Lamortmon is an out-of-control monster and really has to basically stop him from murdering every time he shows up. And now we're just gone back to a fancy tea-drinking gentleman, which is cool. I like how it fits with the rest of the evolutions, which makes the perfect ones for both Gillymon and Angoramon kind of feel a little bit out of place. Like, Thetismon is really cool, but is kind of different from Tez the Gillymon and Gillymon, who are gremlins, and Amphimon, which is kind of like this really cool deep-sea diver. So there is that. There is something to say about the perfects not quite matching the rest of it. With Angoramon, Angoramon's kind of like an adorable rabbit. Simbar Angoramon's kind of fancy gentleman. And now we're going to fancy gentleman again with Megaform. So yeah, he's kind of in B, just because I really liked how Lamortmon was kind of out of control, kind of crazy, but still kind of like a little bit of just a big puppy dog. I don't know. Big fan of Lamortmon, not so much of the Megaform. But again, we haven't actually seen him debut in the anime yet. We just have his design from the upcoming BE Memory and from the upcoming card that's coming out in January, early January's issue of Psycho Jump. So that'll be cool, and I'll be covering that, of course, because it has Digimon Dreamers, which I've been translating from basically the first volume. So just a side plug for other videos on my channel. Next we have Espimon, who I have no idea how I feel about. Now, when Espimon first came out, and we kind of got first images of him in Digimon Dreamers, I was kind of like, not sure, and then I was kind of like, no, he's like a Hamtaro Mega Man kind of looking dude. And then other people made comparisons from like the Tenga Robot to Walter White from Breaking Bad. And while I like his character in Digimon Dreamers, I'm not so fond of his character in Ghost Game. So I'm gonna put him in D. I do like the shade of blue. I like blue, but yeah, just gonna put it in D. It's fine. There are bad comparisons that can be made, and there are good comparisons that can be made. Next we have Fumamon, who I'm gonna put in C. I don't really have many feelings for Fumamon. I'm wondering if it's going to be like an evolution from Blacktailmon, or if it's just going to be a Mon of the Week in Ghost Game, or if it's just put on the Gammamon BE Memory because he looks cool, and it's just a newish Digimon. So I'm just going to put it in C, just because it feels like it looks more like Ravemon, which is a completely existing Digimon already, and I can't really see much difference between it and Ravemon. Instead of just having wings, it has a bigger scarf. I don't know, it just looks too much like Ravemon, and I don't really have many other feelings besides, oh, it sure does look like an existing Digimon, which makes it not really stand out, doesn't really make it that unique, because it looks like something we already have. For a pre-evolution of Ravemon, that could work, but otherwise I don't really have any other feelings for Fumamon. Next we have the Digimon that I was mentioning being in S tier, and it's Gillymon. This is just such like a cute little design. I love he's wearing a little ghillie suit, he's got a little gun. I just think it's just a really cute design. And I really hope that he's appearing in Ghost Game at some point, because that is just such a nice, adorable little design. Yeah, I'm just a fan of him. Just cute. From the moment I saw him, I was just like, that's adorable. And it's such a simple design. It's just very cute. It reminds me of Digitamamon in the way that it's like, you just see the yellow eyes. There's something hiding behind the ghillie suit, which fits really well. So, S tier. Yeah, why not? Next we've got Greymon Blue X Antibody, which I really like this design. It's probably my favourite of all the Greymon designs. I like that it's the Cross Wars Greymon Blue, but then it's the X Antibodies of Cross Wars Greymon Blue. So it's like not Cross Wars Greymon, which is blue, and not Blue Greymon, which is just Virus type Greymon from the start of the franchise or early-ish in the franchise. It's multiple different. It's like Cross Wars Greymon, Blue, X Antibody. It's just kind of funny that there's so many Greymons. But having said that, he's a really cool one, so I'm going to put it in B for Blue. But also because one, it's another Greymon, but two, at least it looks really cool. Next we have Gillymon, who I like his design. I'm kind of a little bit freaked out by him, but I think that's the idea. I'm going to put him in C, because like Fumamon, he's cool, but I don't really have like any huge attachment to it, if that makes sense. Then next we have Hover Espimon, which hasn't appeared in the anime, but presumably will be. I'd be surprised if not. And of course, it's Espimon's adult form. I'm going to put it in C. I like blue. I like the colour blue, so it's a big win in my book, but I don't really have any feelings towards it one way or another. It kind of looks a little bit dumb, but again, it hasn't been animated yet, so it might look really cool in the animation, but just not so great in the art itself. Next we have Funglongmon Ruin Mode, who was from Survive. I like purple. I'm just gonna put it in D, I think. And I'll do a bunch of bulk ones from Survive. I won't give any Survive spoilers or context to these, but all the forms of the Master I'm putting in E. They're just kind of okay. I don't really have many feelings for them, so they're going to hang out in E, and I won't name them. They're just various forms of the Master, who is the bad guy in Survive, and that's not a spoiler because you learn early on that there is someone called the Master who is bad, and that's it. So next we have the first New Century name that I'm going to butcher. It's Hwankunmon, who is like a bird fish thing. Really like this design. It's going to go in B for blue fish and red fish, but just one fish, not two fish. So yeah, I like that design. It's really cool. In fact, all of the New Century Mons, I hope that we see come out outside of China and we get them maybe in the card game, in a BE memory, like Bluecomon, who, as far as I remember, existed in the mobile game in China before New Century. I forgot what it was called. Or maybe New Century was the old one. I'm a fake fan, but one of those Chinese exclusive games that didn't get released outside. We just got Rearise, which died, and Lynx that died, and Heroes that died. I'm still not over the death of Heroes. We also have another one from New Century, which is called Lampumon or Maskmon. Yeah, I'm putting this in C. I think it's cool, but I don't really have many feelings for it one way or another. Or Boromon. Yep, I'm going to put that in B as well. Pretty cool. Then we have a Leomon, which is kind of a hard one to place. On one hand, I don't like the reference book art for it. I feel like the reference book art for it is fairly boring, but her design herself, actually, that we saw in Ghost Game was like, the reference book just did not do it justice. It's a great design. In the same way that I can't really judge However Espimon too much, because we haven't actually seen him in the anime, and it might be the same case as Oleamon, who just looks like better here. Like, I don't know, I just prefer the way that Oleamon looked in the anime, not so much how it appears in its reference book art. But I'm gonna put it in C, I guess, just because, yeah, I don't like the reference book art, but it just doesn't do the actual Digimon justice. Next we've got, I think this is Proximamon, which I'm now realizing, do I just not have Cirrusmon in this list? I got this from Wikimon, but I think either I did, oh no, Cirrusmon is there. And, yep, he's just there, it's not, I was just looking for a sprite. Never mind, ignore me, I'm crazy. Proximamon, who we haven't seen in the anime, we just have in sprite form, and presumably is an evolution onwards from Cirrusmon, like an ultra level. So I think that this design is too busy. So I'm going to put it in D. But again, we could have the same case as we have with Oleamon, which is the sprite. We don't even have reference book art for it. That's how new this Digimon is. We only have a sprite. We don't even have a card game art, just the sprite, which looks too busy. And in the same way, we had a Digimon, which also we had just until recently, just in sprite form, until it was added to the Digimon reference book, and that is Zanmetsumon, who the sprite just looked incredibly busy. You weren't sure what to look at, and then the actual art itself looks pretty cool. So Proximamon might be a case of just the sprite is just too busy, but the actual art is fine. But I'm just going to put it in D at the moment, because that's just what we have. Going by the sprite, it's got too much going on. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at, but official art could fix that or could make it worse. Who's to say? Next we have Problemon, who obviously is in S tier, on the basis that it just reminded me of Atmon. I mentioned this in my episode review for this episode of Digimon Ghost Game, that it was just Reviewmon or Kosomon from Atmon, which makes me happy, because Atmon is my favourite series of Digimon. So S tier for that. Very cute. Pretty decent episode, but I makes me want Atmon to be retconned into Digimon. Just make them just straight up just be Digimon, so we can have them in the rest of the series, and in the card game or in the BE memories, because they would fit really well. So Problemon gets an S tier just because it reminds me of Atmon, and that makes me happy. So next we have, what is Regulus? Wait, that is, yeah, okay, this is Regulusmon. So who was the other one? Who was the one I said was Regulusmon? Where are you in my list? I can't even find you. There's one that's not Regulusmon. Where did you come from? Who are you? There's just random Digimon on my list. No, okay, no, that was Arcturusmon, which is presumably Regulusmon's mega form. I'm also putting Regulusmon in with B tier with Arcturusmon, who is the mega form. They look fairly similar, so you can see my mistake, but I'm kind of like, how did I think that was Regulusmon? It has drill arms. Regulusmon does not have drill arms. Next, we have Shin Monzaimon, which, again, I love that we're giving old Digimon, being Monzaimon, new evolutions. This goes in S tier. This is such a cute, adorable, precious design, but also horrifying. Big fan on that. So, S tier. Cirrusmon, I like him, but I feel like he's a little bit too much looking like Omegamon. I'm going to put him in B tier? No, I'll put him in A tier. He'll hang out in A tier. Okay, final 3 ones, and we're up to 2 more Chinese Digimon that I'm probably going to butcher the name of, so my apologies. So this one is called Zhang Penmon. So I like this design. This is going to go in A, I think, yes. Actually, I will put the fishy up in A as well. Then we've got Zhukyumon. I'm probably butchering that. My apologies. Alternatively, Magpiemon, which looks nothing like a magpie. I'll put it in S tier because I just love this design. He's an adorable little bird with goggles and a little hat, and yeah, I kind of love him, so he's going to go in S tier. And now lastly we have Zanmetsumon, who, as I mentioned earlier, had an incredibly busy sprite with a lot going on, but the reference book kind of makes up for it. So I'm going to put it in B. And there we have it. Those are my Mons for 2022. I don't believe I've forgotten any. I know I said I forgot Ceresmon, but Ceresmon was definitely there, so yay, I didn't forget any Mons as far as I'm aware, or as far as the list I used from Wikimon is aware. So I feel like this is more balanced than last year. It's not as top heavy. I feel like we have a lot in B rank, which is, I guess, kind of my default rank of like, yeah, it's okay. And C is also my, okay, it is okay. And then D's like, it's okay. But in any case, so I feel like my S tier is pretty cool. I think Problemon's not as good looking as the other ones, but is just there because of Atmon, and that is completely fine. I also really like that episode for memory. So that's it for my ranking. I will leave this tier maker tier list that I made up in the description if you would like to do your own. Make sure you tweet it at me at LostinTranslationmon on Twitter, or you let me know what you would rank in the comments below, or let me know your thoughts about Digimon that we've had so far this year. I say so far because I'm still convinced that they're going to just drop an end of 2022 special Digimon. Here we go. At the end of the year. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. I did try to make 13,000 subscribers by the end of the year. There's 2 days left, 200 more subscribers to go. I don't think I'm going to get 100 per day for the rest of the year. So thanks if you did subscribe. Please stay subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so and tell your friends. So in any case, that's it for this video, that's it for this year, and I'll see you in 2023 for a new one. Bye!